I have a best friend called Sejal. Okay, and we were all in school together. And her birthday lunches were always at fabulous restaurants. So when we were in high school, we went to this amazing restaurant in Chennai, in Madras. In those days, it was called Madras, and it was a frontier restaurant called Peshawar. And we had this Dal Makhani there, and I just fell in love with it. And then, but we never made it at home because I come from a South Indian family, and not that we didn't make North Indian dishes, but we just felt it's too complicated. Never tried making it. And then when I moved to Delhi for my master's degree, in Delhi you get it everywhere. So I just started eating it. So the next step was then to cook it myself. It's thick. It's very nourishing, really healthy, and you make it with urad dal. So this is not really a bean; it's a lentil, and it's black. But now that it's been soaked the whole night in water, it looks a little greenish. So we make it with that, and a combination of that and what we call rajma, red kidney bean. And this is basically a frontier dish, in the sense the mountain regions of India, and they used to make this there, and in Punjab. Earlier they would cook it over long periods of time, so the cream from the dal comes out. But now no one has time to cook things for so long, so we're just going to do it in a super fast way in the pressure cooker instead of over an open fire. Okay, so I've got urad dal, I've got red beans. Just putting it all in the pressure cooker. You'll never find an Indian house without a pressure cooker. Minimum one pressure cooker. Maximum, there's no maximum. And I'm going to put a teaspoon of turmeric powder. And okay, now there's going to be a lot of debate over this. Okay, if other Indians are watching this, but I like to put my whole spices with the dal when I cook it instead of frying it separately. I think it's much nicer. So I've got bay leaf, cardamom, cloves, cinnamon, and this little red chili. Okay, so I'm just popping it all in. And I'll just prepare the gravy. So basically it's lentils that are cooked in a gravy. So I'm going to chop onions and tomatoes. So this is like a staple in Indian food, onion tomato base. A lot of Indian dishes have this. I just do it the easy way, and I just put everything in the blender raw, and then I cook it. So my recipe is not up for debate. Okay. I don't make separate food for my daughter, so we've all learned to eat less spicy food now, which I personally think it's healthier. Again, this could cause a lot of controversy. That's how in India, you judge your cooking time. If someone says, how long is the cooker? You say 3 whistles or 4 whistles. You don't say 20 minutes, half an hour. You go by the number of whistles. So since this is a tougher dal to cook, we use 4 to 5 whistles. I have friends who had to move to Germany and they couldn't find a house to live in because neighbors just said if it's an Indian couple, we don't want them living here because they start using their cookers first thing in the morning and we have these horrible sounds. They couldn't find a house for a long time because of the pressure cooker. Okay, so now your kitchen's going to become a little noisier. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a paste with the onion, ginger and garlic first, and then the tomato. So this is onion with ginger and garlic. And normally I would have fried a green chili in the oil, but that again makes it very spicy. I don't have all the everything that I need in my kitchen, like that I would have in India, but it doesn't bother me. It changed a bit in the kinds of food we eat, because here you get so many things that you don't get in India. So I started experimenting. I learned to make sushi, and you get it in very special Indian stores. But I had a very good Japanese friend, and she taught me. So I went and bought the nori paper and the rice, and then we love eating risotto. I started cooking that after I moved here. It just somehow it just seems simpler to do that kind of cooking here. I don't have to go to a super specialty ingredient store. You just go to the Albert Heijn and you get the rice you need, get a white wine to add to it. So actually, you get it all in India, but then it's imported. And I have this huge thing about trying to buy local, and the imported foods are really expensive. So I found so many vegetables here that I've never eaten before, like celeriac. I also had what's that called? Yeah, parsnips for the first time. And these are only foods I've read about in novels, so it's very exciting for me to eat that. So yes, so that way I would say I've just expanded my food vocabulary a bit. And what I do is sometimes I make Indian food with these vegetables. I just cook them the way I would cook an Indian meal. They taste different, so I think sometimes you just really want to eat, you want a taste of home. Oh, it smells fantastic, sir. Mm. That's why I like putting the spices with the dal, because the dal gets that, I feel, it gets that flavor. A really nice trick that people do, so you don't have to fish it out like this, is to just tie up your spices in a little cloth. And you put it in and you just fish out that. So that's called a potli. Potli means a little pouch. Just make a spice pouch and put it in. Dal Makhani is one of the most popular dals, and we normally have it with Indian bread, but it's also a very nourishing kind of a dish to have. I like to have it just by the bowl, like a soup. I like it. Not too much. It was probably like 2 tablespoons. Just to round it off. Would be good. You need a little blob of butter.